So here's my second process video for you for today, National Scrapbook Day. I am playing along with my good friend Christy Harriman, who is Christy's Beautiful Life on YouTube. And she hosts these amazing 30 days of sketches events where she creates with a sketch every day for a whole month. It's super duper fun, and she picks the best sketches. So you can see the sketch that we are working with today, and I think there's 4 of us playing along. So I think Christy's Beautiful Life has a video, Crafty Maggie has a video, and my good friend Christina has a video too. And if those videos aren't up, they'll be up later today. So we are using a sketch from Ashley Horton, who I adore, and I'm going to not follow the sketch. So I'm kind of going to follow the sketch, but not really. So from the sketch, I am taking the idea of the mixed media background. There's little touches of mixed media on the background. So what I'm doing is I have this really cool stencil from Echo Park. It's technically from their Disney collection, but it's super useful and awesome. It has tiny little dots all over it. And I'm putting some Vicky Bouton iridescent glaze through that stencil, and then I let the stencil totally dry, and now we're going to play with watercolors. So I have, if you look like up above at the top of my media mat, you'll see that I have 3 stickers, which are from the Color Kaleidoscope collection, and I color matched the colors on those stickers with some of the watercolors from the watercolor pens, and I'm just going to create a lovely wash of color. I really wanted this to look painterly, so I used a brush, and I love, like, if you look off to the side, how you can see how the streaks go. The brush strokes, I am a huge fan of brush strokes. I think they're really, really cool. So I decided that that's what I would kind of let happen. So I'm going to use different colors of the watercolor, and I'm going to add color and on top of color, and yeah. So this is in real time. This part of this layout is in real time. I left it that way just so that you could see kind of in real time how I create my layout. So I'm just grabbing a Kleenex and kind of blotting away areas where the watercolor is really, really bright, or it really saturated the papers. I'm going to be very careful because I'm going to be mixing colors. And some of the colors I'm going to be mixing will make brown. For example, the green, and I'm going to pull in some orange and some pink. And so the way that I get around the brown is I'm going to let each layer dry. So I kind of walked away. I did the greens, walked away, and then I'm going to come back in with my reds and my oranges. So by allowing my watercolors to dry, I avoid getting brown when I add the orange down to the bottom. And so I'm just going to continue on here. This is the strawberry watercolor pens, and if you have not played with these pens yet, if you haven't purchased them yet, I wholeheartedly recommend going and getting yourself a set. They are a little bit of an investment, but they are so useful. They don't take up a lot of space to store. They're highly pigmented. They're a really, really nice product for scrapbooking, and I really love them. They're really easy to use, and they're just super, super useful, just really useful. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spread the orange here, and I'm going to try really hard not to re-wet any of the green. And I'm going to go ahead and add those little paint stripes until I have a lovely set of kind of blotchy things. So this is going to look like a hot mess until I start covering it up, because of course when you create a mixed media background, you're going to cover up like 90% of it. So when you get to adding color, you want to add a lot of color, and you want to add more than what you're comfortable with, and you want to add more than you think you're going to need, because as you'll see with this layout, when I get to the part where I start to layer my photos down and everything else, a lot of this is just going to fade right into the background. And if you don't add a lot of media to your background, you're not going to have a lot of media on your background in the end. So just something to think about. So now I've gone ahead and I've let that dried completely. I also fussy cut a whole bunch of flowers from one of the 6x8 papers in the Color Kaleidoscope 6x8 collection. I am going to end up using some of those flowers, but not all of them, because they are very much all the same color, and I want to make sure that I'm getting lots of colors on this layout. So we're going for lots of colors. I'm going to use this kind of reddish paper to back my photos with, and these are 2 photos of my niece. I took these last month, I think. Anyway, she has a gorgeous dress on, and she was just walking and enjoying the grass, and this is what I do when I'm with my nieces and nephews. I take their pictures. So, because I have a mixed media background, I want to use Nuvo Deluxe Adhesive because I want to make sure it's going to stick to all of that glaze and all the watercolor. And the reason that what you saw me do there, where I put the bead of glue down and then wiped over it with my finger and then put like a lighter bead of glue down, what that does is that makes sure that I don't get, do you guys ever, okay, so if you are like me, when you use wet glue, if you don't get the thinnest layer of wet glue on the back of your photos or on the back of anything that you put on a scrapbook layout, it wants to like warp or like pucker, and I hate that. And so what I found is that with this deluxe adhesive, you have the ability to kind of put down a stripe, run your finger over it, put down another little stripe, run your finger over the parts that are really blotchy, and it will still stick fabulously. So I am using this, this is actually my embossing tool, and I'm using it to get the powder out of the bag and get the sticky off my stickers, because I want to just kind of like audition my stickers onto my layout. I want to be able to move them around. So from the layout, from the sketch, I took the mixed media background, and then on that sketch you can see how there's like the hearts kind of make this upside down triangle where they start out big and wide at the top, and then they kind of like get smaller as they go down. And so I'm taking that element of the sketch, but instead of having hearts, I am using the gorgeous flowers from the Color Kaleidoscope. And I'm using a combination of fussy cut flowers and flowers from the sticker book. And then I'm using that big sticker as my title. There's like a banner sticker that says favorite moment. And I'm just going to use that as the title for my page. So the rest of this is just really going to be me sticking and plunking, deciding where I want these flowers, making sure that that shape that I want to create of like an upside down triangle where things kind of float off down at the bottom of the page, make sure I actually get that look. And so I'm going to move some stuff around. The other thing I'm looking at is that orange down at the bottom left, just because of how my layout is coming out as I'm setting it up, that orange is becoming very prominent. So I need to make very sure that I have enough orange spread throughout my page that it doesn't become the focus. So that when you look at the page, your eye is still kind of traveling down through the photos, and you're not looking at that page and going, oh, big orange blop down there, right? Because that's no good. So I'm going to keep moving stuff around. I'm popping some things up with some pop dots and just making sure that I have a nice balance of color, and so that that orange at the bottom doesn't become too garish, doesn't become too prominent. And I think I achieved my goal. I still think that orange at the bottom, I needed to have watered it down a bit more than I did, but I was able to kind of work with it. And so that's another thing you have to deal with, or you have to kind of think about when you do a mixed media background. You have to think about, you know, if you do something like that, like make a really orangey spot, you have to kind of problem solve through it to kind of work. So we have the orange, and then we have the pink at the top. So it does, in the end, work out okay. So now I'm going to make a huge bunny mess on my glass mat. So I went through all my sequins, and I pulled mixes that had colors, then went with the colors on my page, and now I'm going to stick them down, and I'm going to put the sequins color on color. And I splurged, y'all, and I bought myself a crystal katana, Brianna Leaper, which if you know her, she's another YouTuber, she's another sparkler. I blame her for this. She actually, she totally enabled me to buy one of these. She's like, yes, you need one, you have to have one. And she was so right, because this works so nice. It's so smooth. It doesn't, I had so much trouble. I had another kind of jewel picker and barely used it because it just wasn't, it would not stick stuff, or I needed to use something else. So I was watching these on Amazon, and they went down to less than $20. I think it was like 18. And yeah. And now I'm going to spill bunnies all over my Matt, do you see all the bunnies? The bunnies. These gorgeous, gorgeous sequins are one of the National Scrapbook Day exclusive sequins from Spiegelman Scraps. There are 3. You can buy them in a bundle over on the website, and they're gorgeous. So this is one of the 3 mixes, and they're beautiful. This is actually my least favorite of the 3, but it so worked with this layout. So that just goes to show that even if you look at a picture of a sequin mix online and you're like, I can pass on that one, don't, because you might end up with a collection at your house that you're working with that has the exact color you need in that mix. Happens to me all the time. And look at all the bunnies. Now I'm going to try to clean up my bunnies, and we're going to call this layout done. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've had a wonderful, wonderful National Scrapbook Day. If you haven't yet, be sure to head over and check out the YouTube hub that I posted this morning. It's a fabulous hub. So many talented girls, and there's only 6 of us, so that's cool too. All right, have a great day. We'll see you all again very soon. Bye.